Ever imagine yourself working with marine life? And I don't mean like a casual snorkeling trip on vacation. I'm talking really working with them like every day,
I
raising thousands of fish, maybe even breeding endangered species.
Yeah,
That's what aquaculture husbandry workers do.
it's pretty cool.
It is cool. And that's what we're diving deep into today, what this career is all about, what it takes to succeed.
Yeah, it's a fascinating field, really.
And we've got some awesome guides from RoleCatcher to help us navigate this whole thing. Think of them like treasure maps, but for job seekers.
Exactly. Yeah,
So, ready to explore the world of aquaculture husbandry?
absolutely. Let's dive in.
Let's dive in.
I think a lot of people, when they hear aquaculture, they just picture, a whole lot of fish.
Makes sense to me.
But there's so much more to it,
Yeah.
especially when you get into the husbandry side of things.
Right, let's unpack that word for a second. Husbandry.
Sounds kind of old-fashioned, right?
It does, a bit.
But in this context, it basically means, like, taking care of the fish.
Making sure they're healthy, well-fed, thriving. It's like being a farmer, but instead of fields, you've got these huge tanks.
Or even open ocean enclosures in some cases, right?
Exactly. And that's where these workers come in, right? These are
Yeah.
the people who are hands-on, doing everything from like checking the water quality to actually like, designing the feeding regimes. It's a blend of physical work and I don't know, I'm almost like fish whispering in a way.
Fish whispering. I love it. Okay, so walk us through a typical day for an aquaculture husbandry worker. What do they actually do?
All right, so picture this. You start your day and you're checking the water quality in the tanks.
Okay.
We're talking about things like pH levels, right? How acidic or basic the water is. You're checking ammonia levels that can be toxic to the fish if it builds up.
Oh, wow.
So these folks, they're like aquatic detectives,
I like that.
making sure the environment is absolutely perfect.
So there's a real science to it. It's not just like dumping in some fish food and hoping for the best. No, not at all. From there, you might move on to cleaning the tanks, making sure that the filtration systems are all working properly. Then you've got to prepare and distribute the food. And just like us, different species need different diets.
Oh, interesting.
Some are herbivores, some are carnivores, some are just picky eaters. It's a whole thing.
Fascinating. I had no idea there was so much variety in the day-to-day.
There's a lot. And, RoleCatcher highlighted this too, depending on, the size and type of aquaculture operation. You might also be involved in things like breeding programs, disease control, even harvesting.
Disease control. So they're like aquatic vets, too.
In a way, yeah.
Yeah.
They need to be able to spot the signs of illness. They might administer medication, implement quarantine procedures if they need to. It's a big responsibility.
Wow.
These are living creatures, after all.
That's true. That's a really good point. So it sounds like there's a lot to learn, obviously. What are some of the just like key skills that someone would need to succeed in this field?
Well, obviously, a love for aquatic life is a good starting point.
Right.
But beyond that, you need, a strong understanding of biology. Chemistry, even a bit of engineering can come in handy, especially when you're dealing with more technical aspects of the aquaculture systems.
It really does. It sounds like a really multidisciplinary field, like you said, a perfect blend of like, science and hands-on work.
Absolutely.
But let's get real for a sec. What about the career itself?
Okay.
What are the pros and cons of like diving into the world of aquaculture husbandry? Is this a good career move?
Yeah, that's a good point. Every job has its ups and downs, right?
For sure.
On the plus side, RoleCatcher points out that this industry is booming.
Really?
The demand for seafood is just skyrocketing globally.
That's true, yeah.
And traditional fishing, it just can't keep up. And that's where, sustainable aquaculture comes in.
Interesting. So job security shouldn't be a problem? Asking for a friend, obviously.
Your friend will be happy to hear that the job outlook is fantastic.
That's great.
Plus, let's be honest, not many people can say they work with marine life every day.
That's true. Yeah.
And on top of that, they're contributing to, a more sustainable future. It's a pretty rewarding field.
Okay, so that's the sunshine and rainbows part. What about the challenges? The guy did mention something about like the demanding nature of the work.
Yeah.
Can you expand on that a little?
It's true. Aquaculture is a 24/7 operation. These fish, they don't keep office hours. So be prepared for, long, sometimes irregular hours, especially during peak seasons or if there's an emergency with the stock.
When you say stock, you mean like the fish themselves.
Exactly. The fish or, whatever species they're raising.
Makes sense. So weekends, holidays, that might be part of the gig too.
Yeah, could be, definitely. It's not for everyone, but if you're passionate about this work, it can be, incredibly fulfilling.
Sure, yeah. And what about growth potential? Like, can you climb the ladder in this field, or are people kind of happy to just stay at the level that they're at?
Well, RoleCatcher outlined like a pretty clear career path, which I think is really encouraging for those who are ambitious.
Okay.
They broke it down into 4 main stages: entry level, assistant, technician, and then senior specialist.
Okay, I love a good career ladder. So let's break that down a little bit. What does each of those steps look like in terms of responsibility?
Sure. At the entry level, you're basically getting your feet wet, learning the ropes, assisting with all those day-to-day tasks we talked about earlier: feeding, cleaning, monitoring. Think of it as your kind of like apprenticeship in the underwater world.
Got to start somewhere, and then you work your way up.
Exactly, yeah. As you gain that experience, that knowledge, you might move into like an assistant role.
Okay.
And this is where you start taking on more responsibility, maybe like designing husbandry practices for a specific species or assisting with, breeding programs.
Putting all that fish knowledge to good use.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then comes that technician level.
All right, the technician level. What do those rock stars get to do?
So as a technician, you're managing those daily operations. You're implementing disease control measures. Think of it like being the aquatic veterinarian.
Wow.
And you might even be conducting some research to like optimize production. You're not just following instructions anymore. You're actually making crucial decisions that impact the entire operation.
Wow. The pressure is on. They must feel like the heroes of the fish farm at that point.
Right.
And then the final stage you said was senior specialist?
Senior specialist, yeah. They're like the Jedi masters of aquaculture husbandry.
I love it.
They're developing new techniques, leading like these really complex breeding and genetics programs, maybe even collaborating with, research institutions. These are the folks who are really pushing the boundaries of the entire field.
Okay. I have to admit, I'm like super inspired by this career path now. Like you said, it's not just about working with fish. It's about science. It's about sustainability. It's about making a real difference in the world,
Yeah, that's
But even with a booming industry, finding a job, let's be real, that can be tough.
yeah.
So what does RoleCatcher have to say about like actually navigating the job search in this field?
Yeah, it's a competitive world out there,
It is.
even for us fish whisperers.
Right.
So what's the secret? What's the secret sauce?
Well, it's no secret that a great CV is key.
True.
And this is where RoleCatcher, I think, really shines.
Yeah.
They have this awesome tool.
Yeah.
It's called the CV Resume Builder. And basically, it analyzes your CV against like specific job requirements.
Wait, hold up. So it's like like a report card for your resume?
Kind of, yeah, exactly.
Tell me more. Tell me more.
So it scores your CV based on how well it like matches what employers are actually looking for.
Oh, wow.
So no more guessing, like, am I a good fit for this?
Right.
You can tweak it, you can tailor, you can really highlight the skills that they want to see.
That's genius.
Yeah.
That must save so much time and guesswork. Absolutely. And speaking of time savers, they also have this browser plugin called RoleCatcher. Capture.
Okay.
So imagine, right, you're scrolling through job boards,
Ugh, don't even get me started.
which, let's be real, can be an Olympic sport sometimes.
Taps for days.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But with this plugin, you can instantly save those jobs from any site, like directly into your RoleCatcher account.
Oh, nice.
It's like a digital fishing net, but for jobs.
I love it. RoleCatcher, basically, it's like having a career coach in your pocket.
Pretty much, yeah.
I love it. Okay, so besides having amazing tools like that, are there any other tips for like really standing out in this field?
Yeah, one thing that RoleCatcher emphasizes is the importance of networking.
Okay.
Attending aquaculture conferences, joining like industry associations.
Yeah.
It's a chance to learn from the pros, right?
Yeah.
Network, maybe even meet your future boss.
It's all about those connections, even in a field that's, all about fish.
Exactly.
It's a people business.
It is.
At the end of the day. All right, cool. And, don't underestimate those internships and the volunteering opportunities.
For sure.
Sometimes, just getting that hands-on experience, even if it's for a short time, it can really, give you a leg up.
Big time.
Amazing, amazing. Okay, so we've talked about the day-to-day tasks, the career path, the job search. But before we wrap up, I'm really curious to hear, just from your perspective, what are you most excited about when it comes to like the future of aquaculture husbandry? What gets you fired up?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I think what fascinates me the most is the potential for innovation in this field.
Okay.
Like, we're just scratching the surface of what we can achieve with sustainable aquaculture.
Right.
Just imagine, like, using AI to monitor water quality,
Oh, wow.
developing new fish feeds from algae, creating, like, these underwater farms that are powered by renewable energy. The possibilities are huge.
Yeah, that's next level stuff. It's not just about, feeding the world. It's about doing it in a way that protects our oceans
Exactly. Exactly.
for generations to come.
Sustainability is key.
Amazing. Well, I'm totally inspired, I gotta say.
Yes.
This has been a really, really cool deep dive. So thank you for sharing all your knowledge with us.
Happy to be here.
So for anyone listening who's, maybe feeling a little inspired, feeling ready to maybe explore a career in aquaculture husbandry, what's like one piece of advice, just one, that you'd give them?
That's a tough one.
Yeah,
I would say just, don't be afraid to jump in.
love it.
It's a challenging field, no doubt,
Yeah.
but it's also incredibly rewarding. Do your research, connect with people in the industry, and most importantly, follow your passion.
Yes.
Follow that passion for aquatic life.
Love it, love it. Couldn't agree more. And hey, don't forget to check out RoleCatcher, by the way. Their guides are like seriously a goldmine of information
They
for
are.
anyone who's serious about this career path. Well, thank you for diving deep with us today, everyone. If you enjoyed this episode, hit that subscribe button and share it with a friend who might be interested in, the awesome world of aquaculture husbandry.
Yes, spread the word.
Until next time, keep exploring.